hand and picking hand aren't synchronized, and I keep missing notes. How can I fix this?
Man, okay, such a good question. So you have hopefully two hands. Actually, I'm just going to mention this first, that a lot of people, in fact, I would probably say around 70% of people who have taught or who have been able to help in some way think that there's something wrong with their hands, or their hands aren't the right size, or their fingers aren't the right size. And guys, if you ever have felt that way, there's two things I want to tell you. Number one, there are guitar players, amazing guitar players, with all size and shape of hands and fingers that are imaginable. So I'm talking, 5-year-old girls all the way to guys that weigh, 300-400 pounds, who are, and then also guys who are in their 80s, etc. So I understand that maybe if your fingers feel a little stiff right now, I understand that. There's a way to overcome that. There's a way to make your fingers more flexible, etc. And that's one of the things that we show inside the courses. But really, the nature of your fingers is not a roadblock. You may think it is, but it's really not. The second thing I would say is that go look up a guy named Mark Goffany. There are multiple people like this, but go look up Mark. He has no arms, and he plays guitar with his feet, with his toes, and he's really, really good at it. Please go look it up. I think it will really inspire you. So, Brock, the question was about two-hand synchronization. So, the question is, I'm missing notes. I think I'm missing notes because my right hand and my left hand aren't syncing up. They're not playing the notes at the right time. And essentially, we're asking, what can I do about that? Well, first of all, it's a really common problem. You're not alone. When you start playing guitar, of course, number one, there's a new coordination skill to learn. And most people don't think about it in this way, but it's really a rhythm problem. So if you can, let's say the very first song that you learn, or the very first few chords that you learn how to play to a beat. Well, we might learn how to play, like, let's say one chord or two chords or three chords, etc., changing over those chords to a beat as if we were playing a song. But most people really don't focus on the fact that, I actually have two limbs. I have two different things, two different hands that actually have to be in sync. And what I notice is that this is really a problem that doesn't become apparent until a guitar player has been playing for a little while. Maybe that can be, depending on how fast they progress, depending on how much they practice, maybe that can be anywhere from 6 months to a year, to it could be 20, 30, 40, 50 years. We've taught students who have been playing for 70 years. So anyway, two-hand sync, what do you do about it? Well, like I said a minute ago, it's a rhythm problem, right? So what we want to do is we want to eliminate distractions, and we want to stop focusing on as many things as possible so our attention can be available for what we want to improve. Now, in this case, we want to improve our synchronization between our left hand and our right hand, depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed. My left hand is my fretting hand, my right hand is my picking hand. If you're left-handed, it's going to be the other way around, of course. But either way, the point is that we want to get these two hands in sync. So, like I mentioned, we want to eliminate as much distraction as possible and specifically focus on a rhythm exercise with getting your two hands to play at the same time. And at first, this is going to seem way too simple, but this is actually how you practice getting your hands to fire at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just literally going to pick a note, just one single note. Doesn't matter what string it's on, doesn't matter what fret it's on, anywhere on the guitar neck that you want to play, right? Just pick one note. And then if I pick this one string, obviously I can play the note and pick it at the same time, and that makes the note ring. So what I'm going to do then, the next step, is I'm going to just add a beat to that. And like I said, this is going to sound very, very simple. It's going to sound overly simplistic at first, but I'm just going to play a steady beat. Now you may know something, or you may notice that I'm not actually letting the string ring out, or I'm not letting the note ring out. So I'm not doing this. Why? Because that doesn't require, from my fretting hand, that doesn't require any movement or any timing. What I want to do is when I play the note, as soon as I press down the note, when I play it with my pick, what I'm going to do is relax my fretting hand. I'm not going to take my finger off the string. I'm just going to relax my fretting hand so that the string comes off the fret, but my finger does not come off the string. What that does is mute the sound of the note. And then the next note that I play, that means I have to press down again with my fretting hand. So what I'm going to do is this. That's just a steady beat, right? Okay, that's going to be really easy for a lot of people, but that's the first step. So the next step is to add more beats or play with a slightly different rhythm, or you can think of it in terms of playing drums on your guitar, but right now we're just playing one note. So let's say we're going to do something like this. Can you hear the beat there? Or you can change it up. And what I want you to do is think of as many different rhythms as you can with just playing one note. And while every string that you play, or excuse me, every note that you play, you want to mute the string with your fretting hand in between, because you have to fire your fretting hand again whenever you play the note with your picking hand. So the next step after that, that's going to take a little bit of practice, right? If your two hands are really out of sync, it's going to take a little practice for you to be able to do that. And I want you to think as many different rhythms as you can. Like one good way to do this is just listen to a song and mimic the drum beat, but just play one note. Like just play one note with your fretting hand. You're just playing one note. You're not changing anything. So after you do that and after you get comfortable with it, the next step is to simply add another note, to add another finger. And let's say instead of that, let's say I'm going to add this. I'm just adding this note right here. So I'm changing between these two fingers. And you can think of different rhythms. Again, it helps if you just listen to a song and mimic the drum beat. But as you start changing notes and start adding fingers, you start to get your two hands in sync. You start to get them to fire, essentially, at the same time. Now, I only played with two fingers. This is just an example. But of course, you want to add your other fingers as well. Now, in this case, we want to focus on the rhythm. We want to focus on the rhythm of the notes that we're playing, not necessarily the sound of the notes that we're playing. Yes, we want the notes to ring out, but it doesn't matter. Let's say we're playing a scale. It doesn't matter if we're playing in a scale or if we're playing right notes or wrong notes. That's not the point for this exercise. Even if I play all these consecutive notes, it doesn't matter. Even if I did this as a rhythm. It's just an exercise to get your two hands in sync and your two hands firing at the same time. So again, just following those steps is exactly what I would do to start working on your two-hand sync.